Hey family, hey family. Come on in. Let us know where you're streaming from. Come on in, let us know where you're streaming from.
What?
I was thinking about
I was trying to read my shirt through the.
can I read your shirt?
Mm-hmm.
I feel you. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Let's know where you're streaming from.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Hey Norma, how you doing, my lady? God bless you. Joy, what's up? What's up? What's up?
Hello.
Jennifer, good evening.
Let us know where you're streaming from. It has been raining all day.
All
if you've
day.
been in the Tampa
My
Bay area,
God. Yeah,
your grass is gonna be super green tomorrow.
Yeah. If you got a leak, boy, we got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got one, but it's all good.
All good.
It's in a good place. Hey, Deborah, good evening. Come on in. Share.
It's not chilly in here, huh?
Well, I stay cold, so. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You looked at me like you saw something.
I saw our little friend.
Hey, Deborah. Hey, Brittany.
Hello.
What's up? What's up? Well, it is.
My dad got on the road today.
Where's he going to?
Going to his property in North Florida.
He's
probably trying to put food out for deer for deer season. Make sure some deer walking on the property.
Hallelujah. All right, let's jump in. Well, my name is Jomo.
I'm Charmaine.
We come together on Friday nights for real, raw, and relevant conversation in reference to relationships.
Yes.
We see over and over again in this season of time that many people are struggling or wrestling with relationship challenges. And tonight we have a really cool topic. And I don't know if anyone has been in this, but it's called basically a one-sided relationship.
Right.
And tonight we're going to talk about signs that you're in a one-sided relationship. And
this is more common than what we think it is, because a lot of times people take on roles and responsibilities at the very beginning of a relationship and while they're dating, and then now you're married, it becomes 5 years, 10 years,
and you're still doing
all these things.
You got bamboozled.
The other person has not taken up any of the slack.
Correct.
In fact, sometimes you find in relationships that the other person's complaining that they're not getting enough quality time, but that's because the other spouse is doing 75% of the work, and the work isn't being distributed, and you're not emotionally being
correct.
Taken care of.
So we have about 12 to 15. We'll take up as much as we have, and when we're done, we're done.
Right.
All right. The first key to understand that you're in a one-sided relationship is they aren't there for you when you are there for them. So right. I don't know about you. I remember there's a time. Now this is just a regular relationship, but nothing deep. That I would help a person and I would give them rides. Okay. And then when I asked for a ride, it was like, oh my gosh, are you really asking me for a ride? And it hit me that, wait a second, I'm in a one-sided relationship, meaning it's all give, it's all take and no give.
Right.
So there's no balance.
Right.
So you have to ask yourself, am I putting more into this than they are?
Right.
And that's the challenge with a one-sided relationship, because oftentimes we are so excited to be in a relationship, you're not even doing an analysis of, wait a second, there's no balance here.
Right, right.
And if you're so thirsty for a relationship, you'll take any relationship, and often a relationship that's out of balance.
Right. A lot of times we'll see, in relationships, in marriage, how one person is more emotionally connected.
Correct.
And then the other person's kind of disconnected. And the person that is more emotionally connected can feel neglected in that area because they're not getting what they're putting out.
Correct.
So we have to be very careful in not doing that in our relationships, because just because it's not your personality to hug or kiss or be affectionate or give kind, encouraging words, if that's something that your spouse needs emotionally from you, you need to stretch yourself, because it's not just about you. Now you've become one with another person, right?
Oof. Love it. Number 2, you're the only one who puts work into the relationship. You're the
Right.
only one that puts the work into the relationship.
You're not identifying the issues within the relationship. The other one person is identifying all the issues in the relationship, and they want to talk about it.
Correct.
They want to try to solve the issues.
Correct.
And then the other person's like not really wanting to put time or work in. And we both know if you don't put the work in, it's not going to work, right?
Marriage works when you put in the work. And the challenge is, it's funny, oftentimes when we try to counsel people and they say that they're in a tough spot, first question you ask them, how's your prayer life?
Oh, that's so good.
Crickets. Do you guys spend time in devotional? Crickets.
You have to have a relationship with God on your own before you come together.
Correct.
Because if you don't have a relationship on your own, then you're not even able to hear from God.
Correct.
You're not even going to know his voice when he's speaking to you, leading you in this marriage.
Correct. And then how's your worship?
Mm.
Do you ever worship? Do you ever come to worship? Do you stream worship? How is it? Do you guys set? Because here's the thing. If marriage is ordained by God, made by God, so how can you have a successful marriage without God?
Right.
God is the glue to the marriage. And God will help you navigate through your challenges, because every now and then the challenge is Charmaine thinks she's smarter than me, okay? And I know I'm smarter than her. So here's the rest. So if two smart people always think they're right, you have to find a common ground that says, listen, we just gonna do the Bible.
That's good.
Because the reality is, people, we both think we smart. We both think we challenge. So if we both believe that we're right, there has to be some umpire, and the umpire is God.
Yes.
If not, you will always be beefing, always be strifing, because you're always right, at least in your mind.
Right.
Because I know I'm right most of the time.
And I know I'm right most of the time.
And there's a problem right there. All right, number 3. You're insecure and feel like you aren't enough. Now, when you're insecure and you feel like you aren't enough, it's oftentimes because your emotional tank is not being filled by this person.
Right.
Because they're not giving you the words you need to feel full.
Encouragement.
Because like today,
affirmations.
My wife, we had some people come by the house, and my wife left. She'll be back. Now, she had some rollers and she had a scarf on and all this thing going on. You know, she had.
It was raining all day, y'all. I kept my rollers in. I literally just ripped them out of my head.
Okay. My point to you is, I said, girl, you look good. You look so good. Now, I know she had the big poof thing on, you know.
And I was so insecure, but I had to go out and see the lawn guy.
Yeah, so.
But I was like.
And I told her how fine she looked with the rollers. I said, listen. I said, I ain't, in my mind, I said, listen, I don't think I've ever been with a girl with rollers in her head at the same. And she's like, you are crazy. But my point to you is, even in spite of her not feeling good, I'm going to make sure she hears that she still looks good. And what happens if you don't feel someone's emotional attack, they will be bankrupt, looking penub in all the wrong places. Right. And it doesn't take that much work to say, hey, babe, you look great. Hey, babe, I appreciate you. Hey, babe, I love you. It doesn't take that much work. And the challenge is, I don't know why people don't want to put in work and rather pay a counselor or go through a divorce than put in the work. It's easier to put in the work.
You have to be consistent too.
But my point is, it's easier to maintain than retrain.
Absolutely.
So she knows me. I go over the top with compliments consistently every day. Girl, you fine. Now she's fine, so I ain't lying. You know what I'm saying? But my point to you is, you have to be the biggest cheerleader in their life.
That's so good, babe, because a lot of times we'll hear compliments outside the home more than we do inside the home, because you take the person for granted because you see them all the time. And you think to yourself, well, they already know they look good. No, you need to tell them they look good, because everybody outside the house is telling them they look good. You need to be the one complimenting them more than other people.
It's so funny saying that. Today, one of the guys, because I had a speaking engagement on Wednesday, and my wife came with me. So all the people were like, Jomo, you really married, because they don't see her when I do my speaking engagements.
Right.
Well, one of the guys told me today that one of the people who were serving the food said that guy, Jomo, looked good in a suit. So he's telling me how this waitress lady was talking about me and how I motivated her. And if I'm not careful, I may take an outside compliment But my wife, when I got there, she said, boy, you look good. So my point to you is my wife had already confirmed how I look, built my self-esteem. So now that when I hear a woman on the outside say I'm looking good, it doesn't faze me because, see, I've already got myself good. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So oftentimes, if our spouses don't hear those words of affirmation from the inside, they're going to look for it on the outside. And if they look for it on the outside, before you know it, they're going to be outside the house.
That's good. It's so interesting how when we have to tell ourselves that we need to give our spouses compliments or affirm them, but we don't have to tell ourselves to do that for our children. We do it for our children automatically. We think that we want to build them up and make them feel good about themselves, where adults work the same way.
Correct.
We have to affirm our spouses. We have to affirm, the person you live with. It is very important that they hear more compliments from you than the outside world.
All day long. Yeah. All right. Number 4. You often have to excuse their behavior.
See, this happens a lot because it's the psychology of it all. The person that it has their tank, as Jomo said, on empty, they have to make an excuse in their minds for why they're being treated the way they're being treated. So that way they can continue, and it's like a coping mechanism. So they have to, in their minds, make up excuses for their behavior, and then the excuses start coming out of your mouth because you have to
to justify this foolishness.
Right.
Well, you know what? He's having a bad day. He's emotional. She's emotional. She's going through this. And every time,
very talkative.
He's not very talkative. No, listen. How is it you can go for a job interview, sit your butt up straight, put a smile on your face, answer every question, be energetic, but you can't do it for your wife. You can't do it for your husband, but you can do it for the man. How is it that you can have a good attitude? Well, not everybody. How is it that you can perform on the phone with a great attitude and that phone voice? Hey, how you doing? And you got your stuff down, but you come home and you can't do it. So you have to be mindful that you have the ability, but you don't want to put in the work. That's your phone? Your phone?
It was Bixby.
Oh, Lord, your phone. That's all right, babe. Grace. You look good, Grace. All right. Number 5. They're more negative than positive emotions when you think about them. When you think about your spouse, you have more negative emotions than positive emotions. Now, Dr. Gottman, if you don't know him, he's an OG of relationships.
Yes.
He's done almost 50 years of marriage relationship studies and surveys. He's out of Seattle, but neither here nor there. Now, guess what? The bottom line of a successful relationship. Now, they've done 50 years of research, okay? The bottom line for a successful marriage is this. I get more out of it than it takes from me. Or another way of saying is, I get more positive than negative. Right. This is the bottom line. After all the research was this, the bottom line was this, that I get more positives from this than negatives.
Right.
Then another great survey that I found that was really good was this, which is amazing to me. I mean, it's so simple, but it blows my mind that married people and divorced people have the same problem. I'm going to say it again. Married people and divorced people got the same problem, meaning we all got problems.
That's right.
The difference between the successful people who can stay married is they figured out how to deal with the person. The reality is 69% of our issues don't change.
Right.
So I know my wife pretty well. She knows me pretty well. There are certain aspects of each other that's not changing.
Right.
You feel me? So I've already calculated that this chick can have some challenges. Okay. And I receive her as a gift. And every aspect of who she is a gift to me. Right. So I realize she's not my enemy. I realize she completes me. So I'm not going to worry about her flaws, because we all got some. Right. I take all the blessings that come with her. The challenge some people have in relationships is all you see is the negatives versus all the positive the person brings. Man, If you can focus on what they bring versus what they take away.
If you find that you're having this issue in your relationship where when you think about your spouse, all you think of is a negative, then I challenge you to sit down and write down all the positive things that they bring to your life, to you personally, and to others, because that feeds love. So you want to make sure that you're focusing on those positives. Now, if it's more negatives than positives, then you have some issues, because the thing is you have ignored those things even when you all were dating. Because like Jomo said, 69% of who we are does not change. So there were some red flags there that you chose to ignore, and now you need to pray and ask God to move on your behalf.
Help, Lord. All right.
But it is a mindset.
Number 6, you're always the one apologizing.
You're always humbling yourself. They have so much pride. They are not even willing to apologize. So for you to just keep peace in the house, you're always apologizing for the issues. That's probably both of your issues.
You're trying to rectify things quickly, and you realize that this person is so immature, they'll never apologize. Actually, the inability to apologize is actually immaturity.
And it kind of enables the person too not to grow, because if you're constantly apologizing for things you shouldn't apologize for, then it never allows them to actually sit on what their issue is and really think about it.
Correct.
Because you're always, empathetic.
Number 7, you're always tiptoeing around them. Man,
no one likes to walk on eggshells in the house,
because the person is so erratic.
Yeah, you don't know who you're going to get from day to day, from moment to moment. That's not a way to live.
Everything triggers them. So
because they want their way. It's one-sided.
Listen, you will never change what you don't confront. Now, let me tell you, never complain about what you allow. I'm going to say it in the back. Never complain about what you allow.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Because what happens, oftentimes we've allowed this behavior to continue and never confronted it. So now this poor behavior has been normalized and they think you're cool with it.
Right.
The devil is a liar. So you have to confront some things, or you're going to have to endure it. All of us have this choice.
Right.
For real. You could ignore it, endure it, or try to cure it. Yeah, for me, I gotta fix it because I need peace. I'm not running around scared for you. Now, I understand everyone's situation is different. I'm kind of crazy. But my point to you is I want to rectify it because I need peace, because I function in peace.
The thing is if you find yourself in a one-sided relationship and you're always tiptoeing around them and whatever their issues are, then you'll never be able to confront the issues to try to make your relationship better. You're enabling the bad behavior, the negative vibes in your house. You need to change the atmosphere in your home.
All right, number 8. You're never certain about how they feel. I mean,
we have to communicate with transparency. We have to make ourselves vulnerable. We have to talk. If you don't want to communicate, you shouldn't even be in a relationship. Because for two to become one, it takes a lot of work. And part of that work, most of that work, is communication.
Amos 3:3 says, how can two walk together unless they agree? Another translation says, unless they have an appointment. We can't go anywhere with the things that we need to do if we can't communicate. And my premise is not just communicate, but communicate in love.
Right.
Communicate truth. And be able to absorb some of the flaws of our spouse. Because all of us got flaws. And you married the person with a flaw. Now, you knew they had a flaw. You may not know how bad the flaw was, but we all have issues. But we have to be able to speak the truth and communicate when something bothers us. So what we have done is we've instituted weekly meetings. Now we've graduated, but if we have an issue, we both going to talk about it.
Right.
I did something, I think, last Sunday, and she came to me and said, babe, this kind of bothered me. I said, okay. So I sat. I didn't say anything, just listened. And after I listened, I dealt with the issue that kind of got, that kind of offended her. And I dealt with it. And I dealt with it that day. So if she comes to me and said, babe, this bothered me, I'm gonna fix it that day. We're not waiting on it. We ain't got to pray about this. And this is why you have to be in tune to God. That if God convicts you, it's nothing to talk about. We fix it.
And the thing is when I approached him with it, he didn't verbally say, I'm going to fix it. I received what you said. He just kind of sat on it. Ladies, let him process the information.
Jesus, let him process.
Because a lot of times we tend to be really quick.
Yes.
And we want an answer right now.
Yes.
I just gave you a problem. I just popped up with this. You were not expecting it. You might have been watching a football game or reading a book, and your wife comes up to you with an issue or something that concerns her, and she wants you to have the answer right away. Well, let me tell you something. A lot of times, not all men are the same, but a lot of times your husband needs to process the information you gave him. It's okay to say, we can discuss it later. It's okay to walk away and let him think about what you just said before he comes up with an answer or a solution or actually confronts the issue.
I'm so frustrated because I'm hearing too much of people forcing conversations and then get mad when a person don't talk. If a person said, let's hold on, let's wait a second, let's reconvene, give me 20 minutes, give me an hour. No, we're going to talk now. Okay, now we're in a bad place because see, you're not going to get what you want. And you're not going to force a person to talk to you. That's the last thing you want.
I think it's okay to talk to them as far as like what you want or what you're concerned about, but forcing a response right away when they're not.
You're not going to get the response you want.
You're not going to get.
You're not going to get.
That ain't what you want.
That ain't what you want, boo. You going to get something you want before you know it. You got it.
And a lot of guys don't like to speak out of emotion, but very logical. So they're going to think about all of the angles, all the facts that you've presented, and think about how they feel about it, and then give you an answer. So Number nine.
You're the only one bringing up issues of the relationship. I like what this author said here. One person in the relationship called the pursuer is the one bringing up topics or issues. Mm-hmm. The other party called the withdrawer is the one avoiding the issue, passively waiting for the pursuer to fix the problems and become defensive once the pursuer confronts them. Quoted from Kim. So here's my point. A person is the pursuer. They're trying to fix it. And there's the avoider who try to run from it. Now, who are you? Now, I want to ask my audience right now. Has anyone dealt with this situation where it seems like you're trying to fix it and another person's trying to avoid it? And as much as, and let me see what y'all say, as much as we want to avoid confrontation,
right?
I don't like confrontation, but
neither one of us do.
But I have graduated to understand that love confronts.
Yeah,
I see Lynette. I see Karen. Love confronts.
Yeah.
Love deals in truth. In the Bible, David did some terrible things. And the prophet Nathan came and said, hey, man, you got to get right. Now, David had the power to kill Nathan, but Nathan confronted him. In the Bible, when something's wrong, the Bible says you confront people.
Right.
So if you love them, you have to confront them. Not trying to be negative, but my point is the behavior will not change if I don't address it.
Right.
All right. Number 10. Ooh.
You talk to friends about the problems more than you talk to your partner about them.
Now, this is too much. It's everybody.
Because you don't feel comfortable talking to your partner about it. Or you're scared, you're fearful to confront them about whatever the issue is. So you feel more comfortable talking to your friends, and you may be talking to your friends to validate your feelings.
Correct.
To validate the fact that there is an issue. Yeah, girl, that's an issue. Or no, that's not a big deal. And there's nothing wrong with getting advice from friends as long as you go to the right friend and you know who the right friend is and who the wrong friend is for you.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people do this to validate their feelings. And that's really sad. If you feel more comfortable talking to your friends about your relationship then you feel comfortable talking to your spouse about your relationship.
And it happens so much, especially I know I was having a conversation with a good dude, and he's like, man, you know, my wife, I'm going to have our annual meeting on the budget this week. And he says, we're over. And he says, you know, I feel uncomfortable with it. But, you know, what we do at the end of every year, we pull the bank statements and say exactly how much we spent for the year.
Yeah.
And he's like,
it's an eye opener for everybody.
Yeah, he said last year we spent this amount, and this year we're up by 20%. And he says, you don't realize it till the end of the year. You kind of itemize everything and say, wait a second. He says, we have it, but this is going to take us off our goals.
Right.
So oftentimes it's very hard to have a conversation, especially about money, where you have to confront somebody. It can be challenging. I understand that. Number 11, Mama.
Number 11, they freak out if you set boundaries.
Oh my God.
Usually people embrace boundaries because it kind of lets you know where the person is and what their boundaries are, where they are, like their limits.
Correct.
Yeah. Usually that's like a comforting thing for someone to know, because you don't want to run into an issue when they could have just told you, hey,
I think people really example, if you were in a relationship with a person committed adultery, okay. The expectation is, if we're going to stay together, you're not going to have a lock on your phone. Or if you have a lock on the phone, I know the code.
Right.
And the phone doesn't hide.
Right.
Your email, I know what it is. Meaning, because see, now that you've proven that you have broken trust, the only way for a person to rebuild trust is for you to give them access, and you can
totally transparent.
Totally transparent. It is what it is. So what happens, people don't like the guidelines of a relationship. We want a relationship, but we don't want the responsibility of transparency, of honor, of trust, of faith. Don't ask. And that's
my still want to be independent.
Yeah. And I don't understand the logic behind that. Right. If you want to be married, you have to be willing to be naked and unashamed. Right. Transparent. Right. If you want it to work.
We've never had, we have locks on our phones now just because the day and age that we're in, the world that we're in. But both of us know our codes to our phones, and both of us have our emails on each other's phones. Yeah, so if Joe gets an email, I can look at it.
We all know. We
vice versa.
So, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I see some shopping. It is what it is. I don't say, hey, babe, do you buy something? I don't, because I know that part of transparency is not to micromanage, but to cover. Right. It's not a negative, it's a positive. So we have to understand in our relationship that boundaries are good. Right. Hey, babe, I don't want you out this time of night.
It's actually, it doesn't bother me. It actually covers me a lot, because sometimes Jomo is better with his email than I am. So he'll say, babe, did you see that email from so-and-so? And I don't know, I didn't see it. So then I'll go in my email and look. So I don't mind, because we're not trying to hide anything from each other.
Yeah, I saw one. I was like, I should have told her. But I try not to all the time. But anyway, number 12. You're not on the same page with important things. It seems
not the little things,
the important things. You're not on the same page.
The budget.
Oh, important
issues.
Important.
Religious issues.
Faith.
Right. Faith.
Are we giving money?
Right.
Oh, that's a big one.
That is.
Are we on the same page in reference to the big things?
Right.
If you're not on the same page all the time, you're in a one-sided relationship.
Right. On the big things.
On the big things.
Yeah.
Like for us, we already have an agreement on money. We have an agreement on sex. We have agreement on our kids. We have agreement on education. We have agreement on retirement. We have agreement on vacation. We don't argue about these things.
Right.
So what I'm saying, as you develop your relationship, there are certain things you should not be arguing about anymore. You should graduate to the point of, listen, we know that for us, we're going to take care of our kids.
It's like a marriage decree.
Yeah. We've locked in that, we're going to have a good sex life.
Right.
Period. There's no fighting. There's no arguing. We're going to have a great sex life.
Yes.
You know what? In reference to finances, we're going to save money. We're going to have a budget, and
this is our goal.
And this is our goals.
Right.
We know that we're going to go on vacation a couple times a year. There's no debating about that. Right. We know that we're going to try to do the best for our kids. No debating about that. We know that we're going to have college prepaid. No debating about that.
Right.
We know that we're going to save for our kids' future. No debate. My point is, we have already knocked down the big things. Right. There's no debating about faith. My wife doesn't argue about me about the prayer line. Y'all know me by now. If you watch me, I'm devoted to my prayer life. There's
Right.
not an argument about, Jomo, why do you pray so much? Or, we don't argue about giving.
Right.
We give a lot of money. There's no argument there.
Mhm.
So until you get agreement on the big things, it just makes your life so much harder because you're arguing all the time about stuff you shouldn't be arguing about.
Right.
If you are grown and an adult, this is the direction we're going, and we are in agreement because God flows through agreement.
Right. And we've already sat down and discussed those different subjects or different areas of our life that we have to come into agreement on.
Yeah, we ain't playing
If you
this.
haven't sat down, make out your categories that are most important to you in your life. Both of you all sit down and come to an agreement on those things.
Now, let me be clear. We have been together 25 years.
Total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Married 23 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So we have been through enough seasons to learn each other.
Right.
So you may not be there yet, but you should start working on what are my deal breakers.
Right.
Okay. What are for some now-ons and what are never agains? Meaning we learned that lesson. So from now on, we're not going to do this. So my point is, as you learn each other, you should identify our flow.
Right.
Our flow is good. She knows whatever she wants, Jomo won't try to get it for her. And it's not a discussion because I believe that I can do it. Now, I know I'm crazy. It's so funny. We were in bed one night and says, Jomo, do you think, I forgot what it is. It was some job. I said, Jomo, you think you can do that? I said, of course I can. She said, you are crazy. It don't matter. But again, my mindset, I believe that we can do it.
Right.
And even with our daughter, I said, babe, I know there's a season with our baby girl that we don't like. I said, but as long as you're riding with me, it's going to be all right. Yeah. Because most times when families have a challenge with a sick child, people argue and fight with each other. But if we can ride together, ride or die, man, there's nothing you can't stop.
It can be a cause for division in
Correct.
Your relationship because it's stressful.
Correct.
Taking care of an ailing parent is stressful. But it's necessary.
It's part of the course.
Part of life.
There it is.
And if you can't be strong and be a rock for your spouse in those times.
The Bible says a brother is born for adversity. Meaning you don't know who you're riding with until hell hits your door.
That's right.
Then you can find out what your marriage is really like. And we've been through bankruptcy, foreclosure. I've been through cancer, chemotherapy, reconstruction. I've been through all of it.
Yeah.
And in the midst of it, this chick came out like gold. So for the rest of her life, I'm going to treat her like gold. Because real talk, because you don't know who you're rolling with until stuff goes south. And that is the beauty of riding with each other. All right, let's land the plane. Number 13.
Right, number 13.
You think you can control them or change them. Ooh,
the
Jesus.
Only person you can change in this entire world is you.
Huh.
Look in the mirror, because that's the only person you can change is you.
Come on.
You cannot change anyone else. The only person that does not change and will never change is God. So what you have to do is change what you can change about yourself and pray that God will change, your spouse, because you can't do it.
This is what I do, okay? I know the Bible says a prophet gets no honor in his own home, okay? So there's times where, in a relationship, your spouse doesn't receive you because you're too common. What do? It's your prayer. Lord, send the right person that they can hear and receive what I'm trying to give them.
That's good.
Because as Paul says, some plant, some water, all the time, God makes it grow.
That's right. So
sometimes it's not for you to enforce it, but for you to plant the seed and let God send someone else to enforce it.
In Ecclesiastes, it talks about a time and a season for everything under the sun. So you want to make sure that you may have planted that seed, but it may not be time to reap the harvest of that seed. So timing is everything, especially when it pertains to God and purpose. So you want to make sure that, you're not trying to rush God. You planted the seed. Be okay with planting that seed. If somebody else goes by and waters it and it grows, don't be mad with your spouse because they received from somebody else, because maybe it wasn't the time when you gave them their
Here's what happens. People plant the seed and they do this. Hurry up and grow.
Yeah, they
What are you
planted a
doing?
seed.
Dude, you just told me yesterday.
Right.
I've been like this for 25 years. I'm not about
Right.
to change tomorrow. I don't know why I don't know why we think because we told them that all of a sudden they're going to change their nature. If a person been doing so, if the brother been pissing on the toilet seat for 35 years,
Guess what?
he gonna be pissing on the toilet because he ain't here and got his aim down good yet. We can work on that. Put the toilet seat up, brother. Put the toilet seat up. To God be the glory. Number 14. You hide or sugarcoat the truth to your family.
You have to defend them all the time.
And
with
you
your
be
family
lying.
And friends.
You be, oh, he's just sick. Oh, she's just tired. No, she's nasty.
Rude.
She rude. Call it what it is. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And if you're always trying to cover them
That's
for
not
your in-laws,
fair.
that's not fair.
That's not fair to you.
Number 15, the relationship is at a standstill.
You're not growing. And when you don't grow,
you die.
That's it. And that's all.
When a tree stops growing when it dies. And if your relationship is not growing, I'm not trying to say your relationship's dead.
But
I'm just saying it's on life support. And you have to understand, that's why people say all the time,
God can revive anything.
Amen. People say all the time, we grew apart. Well, grow back together.
That's right. Because if you're growing, hello.
Well, you have to recommit and make some covenants and say, listen, babe, let's start over. Let's do an expectation exercise. Right. Tell me what you expect from me as a man and a husband. Right. And I want to tell you what I want from you as a wife. And let's agree that we're going to work on this together. I'm telling you, you don't want divorce. I'm telling you, you don't want the heartache. It's easier to maintain than it is to retrain. So we might as well put the work in on us, because guess what? Wherever you go, that's where you are. You still going to be you, boo. So whatever issue you have that's going with you, and you think if you find a new person, that new person going to fix you. No, people don't fix us. And some people believe if I get married, I'll be happy. That's a lie. No, marriage don't make you happy.
Marriage does not make you happy. It makes you work.
Come on. If I have a baby, I'll be happy. Ha ha. You're going to be working.
Make the relationship more complicated.
Yeah. So you have to understand that I have to find peace within myself. I got to find my joy within myself. And then when I find it within myself, now I'm ready for a relationship. Well,
that's good.
That's the word for tonight. I pray it was a blessing to you. We have more content, but we've been here for 40 minutes.
A one-sided relationship.
This was good. Now, please share and like and follow. And if you have not,
make sure you get on our YouTube channel, Jomo and Charmaine.
If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the bell and the like and all the other stuff in reference.
We have new videos coming out every Thursday.
Yes, now we have increased our video output to 2 videos a week.
Right.
So every week we'll have 2 videos coming out, and our whole goal is to continue to strengthen relationships, because marriage is under attack. Right. And we want to make sure that we put all the work in. Now, I put a plug in this week, so I'm gonna tell y'all now. At the end of February, we're gonna have a live relationship conference, Love on Purpose. Yeah. Some of you, if you want to travel to Florida, come holler at your boy. Praise God. But we're going to have a live conference, a 2-day conference. Basically, it's going to be a Friday night and a Saturday. And we're going to get in the word. And if you travel in, man, you might as well stay for Sunday at that point. You know what I'm saying? To fly out. Right. But I'm just putting it out there.
We'll give you guys more information about that.
So we're going to give you some more information as we go. But if you want to meet us live in person and we can have a real good session, God had already given me some downloads on some things that we're going to talk about at the conference in February. Why February, Pastor? Well, it's Valentine's Day. So, it's relationship month. So we're going to do a live conference. Well, we love you. Remember this: love, laugh, and learn. God bless you. Have a wonderful night.
Bye-bye, everybody.